I'm Pat Doris. Welcome to The Story. Remember Oregon's last election for governor? A huge amount of money was spent, $70 million, trying to convince you which candidate to vote for. We're one of the last states in the country with no limits on campaign finance and the amount of money that can be given to campaigns and who the campaigns can get it from. Well, heads up, that is on the verge of changing, and that's our big story tonight. Now, you might not think campaign finance is an exciting topic, but you should, because it pays for all those ads and mailers you get every election cycle, and it seems like it blows through the area every once in a while. And up until now, it's been wide open in Oregon with no limits. So the rich folks and the big unions can really throw their weight around. There's a lot of money being spent because, well, it works, and everyone's trying to convince you which way to vote. And while lots of lawmakers have given lip service to reform over the years, very little has actually happened. Voters did pass two different initiatives, but both were then struck down by the courts. So the Oregon legislature, get this, has not taken action on this in 150 years, until right now. This morning, the Oregon House Rules Committee hammered out a compromise between several groups, and this afternoon the bill passed on the full House floor. One of the biggest things it will do is stop folks like Nike founder Phil Knight from writing huge checks directly to the candidates he supports. In 2022, he gave Betsy Johnson $3.75 million and Christine Drazan $1.5 million. Under the new bill, he would be limited, like every other individual in Oregon, to just $3,300. It would also prohibit unions from spending huge amounts. During the last governor's race, the union SEIU gave Tina Kotek $1.7 million. Under this new bill, they would be limited to roughly $100,000. First, we're going to hear some reaction from the players involved. Then we'll get more into the details on what this bill does. Here's Jason Kafoury. He's an attorney in Portland and one of the leaders of a group called Honest Elections Oregon. He was talking online this morning with lawmakers.
I'm pleased that we're finally getting to a place where good government groups could find it, I would say, acceptable enough as a starting point and a big starting point. I mean, this is a huge step forward for our state. We've been the Wild West for way too long, no limits on any political contributions. And I don't think that's the Oregon way. I really don't. We ranked in 2016 second to last in how we finance our campaigns by the Center for Public Integrity. Only Mississippi was low. We were 49th of 50th, and I think we'll finally move out of that category after this.
So, sorry, Mississippi. You're going to have to find another state buddy to hang out with at the bottom of the rankings. The politicians from both parties praised this deal and agreed it is about time.
So first, I want to thank everyone who has come to the table and participated in good faith to come to this compromise. As I've said before in this committee, we have seen too many years of entrenched positions and conflict around campaign finance reform. But in the last few weeks, we've seen remarkable willingness for all sides to engage, listen, and focus on the good policy for the people of Oregon.
And those opinions were heard, those opinions were meshed through, and those opinions ended up on a piece of paper that people agreed to. And I think moving forward, we show Oregonians that the legislative body can work and get good policy out there. It's not perfect. We understand nothing ever is perfect, but we have the ability to get people to come to the table and have a conversation to move issues forward.
Okay, so there you go, a historic agreement. Now, what's it say? Let's take a look. For a candidate for state representative or state senate or circuit judge or district attorney, they will only be able to accept $3,300 per election from a person, $2,000 per election from a candidate committee, and $5,000 per election from a multi-candidate political committee. But there's more. They can accept $15,000 per election from a legislative caucus committee, $13,200 per election from a member organization. For that, we mean groups like Planned Parenthood or environmental groups. $5 times the number of donors per election from a small donor political committee. I know that's confusing, but we're talking about unions there, and that's for a local race. For a statewide race, like for governor or attorney general, that small donor political committee can give $10 times the number of donors per election. So, for example, if SEIU has 55,000 members, they may have something like 10,000 members who contribute to the political campaign, and that 10,000 times $10 gets you $100,000 for a statewide race. So that's still a decent amount of money, and the union could give that amount to several different candidates. But, you know, it's nothing like $1.7 million, which is what it gave to Tina Kotek last time around. Now, you might be wondering, wait a minute, aren't there loopholes? Well, yes, there are, in part because campaign finance also includes federal law. And since independent expenditures are allowed under federal law, they have to be allowed in Oregon, too. But there is a twist. This new law requires any group that spends $50,000 or more in an election cycle to reveal the name of everyone who gave them $5,000 or more. So big groups can still spend independently big money for a candidate or an issue, but they'll have to tell you who's supporting them. There is a lot more to the bill. For example, it also lets cities like Portland set even lower campaign limits. This entire bill runs 27 pages, but those are the highlights. It sailed through the House today with 52 yes votes and 5 no votes on its final reading. And now it's on to the Senate, where it's expected to quickly pass. It needs to. There are just 4 days left in this legislative session. Then it's up to Governor Kotek. If it's signed into law, it will not take effect until January of 2027. And now it's your turn. What do you think about limiting the amount of money that can be spent in political races? You know what to do. Communicate with us. Shoot us an email, will you? The address is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a voicemail, 503-226-5090.